Good Day continues at 5:30 a.m.
Some outdoor plans last night had to switch gears after storms moved into parts of North Texas. Yesterday's storms did some damage in Collin County. We get a live look from Allen in just a moment. An error with the state's reporting system has caused a major backlog with new reported COVID cases, a mistake that spiked Dallas County's numbers by the thousands. Good morning. It is Monday, August 17th. I'm Brandon Todd. You see right there, severe storms brought damaging winds and hail whipping through North Texas last night. This is video from McKinney and then Plano and uptown Dallas as well. And Evan, you can really see from every piece of video that we've gotten so far from viewers, the winds really just were a beating sometimes, knocking down trees, causing some damage.
Yeah, the winds, 60, 65 miles an hour, and they're fairly, I won't say they were widespread everywhere, but I saw them in Collin County, Grayson County, I think up around Sherman, they clocked 70. McKinney clocked about 62 at the airport, and it wasn't just a couple of seconds worth. I mean, there was a good period of wind for a lot of folks. The hail, not as significant. I didn't really have any reports of severe hail. Yes, there were hailstones, but no damaging hail. It was really about the wind and the lightning causing lots of power outages. As we looked this morning, obviously that was all between about, I would say roughly 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon and maybe 10 o'clock last night. Everything has moved its way on, so we're not really worried about too much this morning, other than some lingering showers. Right now they're down by Palestine. That's some of the rainfall we're seeing in Anderson County that's moving away. I'm not going to rule out a shower or two in the cloud cover that we have out this morning. It's about 20-30% coverage, mainly in our southern counties, just isolated elsewhere. Not much going on between 10 and 2 o'clock. And then later today, maybe a stray storm up north. So it's not a totally rain-free day, but the clouds are exiting. Showers are exiting. Temperatures are in the low 70s, partly sunny, 85 at noontime. It'll still be 93 this afternoon. It'll be warm, but just not the heat that we've experienced lately. As I mentioned, 1 or 2 isolated storms in specific areas up north on the Red River and down into our southwestern counties. And the rest of this week, pretty quiet as expected. Temperatures will be in the 90s. So we'll discuss that in just a few minutes. Dan Godwin covering some of the damage for us this morning out in Allen. Dan, what are you seeing?
Well, good morning, Evan. This part of Allen is about 3.5 miles east of Central Expressway, a residential area. Now, on this street, we're not seeing widespread damage, but certainly this tree right over here took a hit. This certainly gives you an idea about the strength of the winds that Evan was talking about that blew through here, strong enough to split this trunk. It was about 6:30 last night that the storm first arrived in Allen. Here's how it looked from another spot on the city's east side. That wind, a pretty ominous sound, especially when you're wondering what's coming next. The video we were able to capture also shows the lightning strikes that could be seen before nightfall. Lots of different parts of North Texas reporting various kinds of damage. One group you can always count on to respond, the Dallas-based Texas Baptist Men. They travel all over the country to provide cleanup and relief after natural disasters of much greater magnitude than what hit North Texas last night. They will have a chainsaw crew on the job here in Allen later this morning, and they'll hit other parts of the Metroplex as needed. Reporting live, Dan Godwin on Good Day.
The Monday morning drive is off to a horrendous start because of a bad series of incidents on the Lake Ray Hubbard Bridge. So we look at this TxDOT shot live at I-30 and Dow Rock Road. It only paints part of the picture. So let's go to the map so you get a better feel for exactly what's going on. A little before 3 this morning, an 18-wheeler traveling in the eastbound direction hit a vehicle that was stranded on the side of the roadway, just parked there, abandoned, if you will, and then ended up wrecking. And as that crash ended up stopping, another 18-wheeler trying to avoid that crash, ended up striking the median wall and flipping into oncoming traffic on the westbound direction, and striking 2 other vehicles. Thankfully, there are no fatalities in this crash, but the cleanup is extensive. Not only do you have 2 18-wheelers to get off the highway, but all the other vehicles involved have to be cleared from the roadway, and a large diesel fuel spill will have to be addressed before they can get the main lanes open once again. So again, you see all these vehicles that are trapped on the Lake Ray Hubbard Bridge right now because there hasn't officially been a detour set up yet for whatever reason. So in the Rockwall area, going in the westbound direction, approaching this location, don't go further past Goliad and be my or 205 and take FM 205 north up to Highway 66 as an alternative. In the eastbound direction, don't go any further than the George Bush Turnpike. Use that. It's going to be worth the money to go north up to 66 and use that as an alternative. It will be at least 6:45, if not later, before we see any changes for the better as far as lanes getting through there, according to the Rowlett Police working the scene.
All right. Noted, Chip. Thanks. Well, thousands of old COVID-19 cases in Dallas County were reported for the very first time yesterday. Most of the 5,300 new positive tests reported were done back in July. Health officials tell us that an error with the state's reporting system led to this massive backlog. People whose tests were positive were told at the time, but this error prevented the county from doing contact tracing to alert others that they might have come into contact with someone who was infected. Health officials say this error helps explain why we've seen some unusual trends in the numbers just in the last couple of weeks. A doctor on the Texas Medical Association's coronavirus task force says the case numbers are just one of many factors to consider when looking at the spread of COVID-19 in North Texas, and that this might not be the end of the confusion.
You know, and if there was the backlog for the past month, there may still be a backlog for today. And so I think I would hold off on making any conclusions on today's numbers, especially given what we're hearing about the backlog itself. I hope they can fix it quickly so we can really get a better understanding of what happened in July, and then help us probably look more into what's going to happen in August as well with that additional data and information.
Well, he says it's a good reminder that the pandemic is far from over and that we should continue to do what we've been doing to slow the spread, wearing masks in public all the time, social distancing, and staying at home when you feel sick. Now, Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins says single-day numbers have been going up in the last week after lower case totals started at the end of the month. Now, it's still not clear how much of a factor the state's reporting error was in terms of those lower case counts that we saw earlier this month. Meantime, Tarrant County reported 700 new COVID-19 cases yesterday and 8 more deaths. Saturday, it reported more than 1,400 cases, and most of the positive tests are from a month ago and are just now being sent to the state through electronic lab reports. For a closer look at COVID-19 cases across the state, head to our website at fox4news.com. Well, a professor at Texas Christian University has died from complications related to COVID-19. Robert Rhodes taught at TCU's business school for more than 35 years. He won numerous awards during his time there. Earlier this year, he was named Honors Professor of the Year by the John B. Roach Honors College. He was just 65 years old.
All right, it is 9 minutes after 5 o'clock on this Monday morning. Coming up, Democratic lawmakers want the Postmaster General to testify before Congress later this month. This comes after growing criticisms over his cost-saving changes ahead of the November election. And today kicks off the mostly virtual Democratic National Convention. We get a preview of what to expect for day one coming up in a live report.